If you want to hear the voice, you have to remove this.
Better you put one chair there only and say. You put one chair there only and start, right, madam?
Start.
So when I explain easy characters, it is
Good morning. Good morning to the dignitaries, invitees, and my dear teaching fraternity. I, Deepthi Singh, Assistant Professor, St. Joseph's Degree and PG College, take immense pleasure in welcoming you all to the third day of the National Level Faculty Development Program on the topic Crafting Scholarly Papers, organized by Department of Commerce and Research and Development Center, St. Joseph's Degree and PG College, in collaboration with Institute of Public Enterprise. Day one of the Faculty Development Program began with the inaugural session, followed by the first technical session by Professor Ramakrishna on the topic Pragmatic Approach to Research Paper Writing. Day two of the FDP program was on the topic AI Tools in Research. We had amongst us Dr. Mohsin Khan, Assistant Professor, Institute of Public Enterprise, who gave hand-on experience on analysis of data using AI tools like SPSS and EMOS. It was really a worthwhile experience. Today, third day of the Faculty Development Program is on research methodology, framing objectives, hypothesis, and data collection. I extend a very warm welcome to today's resource person, Professor C.H. Lakshmi Kumari, Professor and Dean Research, Institute of Public Enterprise, who took out her valuable time and joined us to be a part of this Faculty Development Program. I request Madam to please grace the dais. I request Mrs. Padmaja, Assistant Professor, to welcome our resource person with a sampling. Dr. C.H. Lakshmi Kumari is a PhD in economics with a specialization in public sector management. Yeah. Okay, ma'am. We welcome you, madam, and request you to please take over the session.
Slide change. Slide change. You can do it. Huh? You can keep changing the slide.
okay, this side.
Otherwise, if you want, you can use this for changing.
Because when we change the system, no, some things will get disturbed. Okay. Just checking that. Yeah. but I may go in a different way.
You can go
on
the
this
way you
line.
want. This is
Yeah.
if you want the remote. Yes.
Good morning, all of you. Yeah. I hope today, this is the third day for you, this research workshop on crafting your research paper especially. And to the good morning to the online participants also, those who are very enthusiastic and joined from different parts of the country. And today the paper writing has become a very important thing, and because research dissemination, how you will disseminate our research through publication only. If we publish, then we will be known to the entire world about our work, and it will be very good interactive based learning also. It will become a very interactive based approach of academic collaborations will be developed, and people will come to know what we are working and where we are, and the world become very, academic world will become very small when we publish. If we don't publish, then people will not come to know, especially the academicians. We will be known through our works only, our publications especially, or our research studies, what we do. And another thing is through classroom teaching. Yes, many of the students will know about us when we teach in the classes and as years advance. But research will make us to live throughout our life. Even if we are becoming so was, there is no endless service. This is so if we work, people will recognize wherever we are, and through mail they will call us and ask us to share our experiences. So please don't stop publishing, always publish in any work, whether you can publish in newspaper or you can write in UGC care listed journals, or say Scoopers, ABDC, A Star. These are little bit above. Those who already are in the publication zone of getting into Scopus, as they can aim to the next level. But those who are at the early level of publications, they can aim at UGC care list journals and all. So before getting into the methodology and other aspects, let me give you a small understanding of how actually we need to look at the publication, because many of you are PhDs, as I will go through research part, and we will do a small exercise on how to actually title your paper and how to frame your hypothesis, how to design your sample, and because PhD is different and writing a paper is different. Again, doing research projects, that also we will touch upon both simultaneously. I'll take you. And if you are going to publish, if you are interested to publish, so first, what topics I wanted to do research means those who are early researchers, means who are in the beginning of your research. Most of I am addressing, I hope many of you are a commerce background, means those who are into the finance stream and especially into the financial domain. I feel commerce and financial domain. So normally the subjects we teach is different. The research we do is different. Normally, on what research by publications will focus more on the topics that we do in our PhD. Some might have done PhDs in the banking sector. Some might have done PhDs on the stock market. Some issues on non-performing assets. Many topics are there in the financial domain, or valuation is asset valuation using some CAPM model. Yes.
Among us, we do have English, language, and even science faculty who are attending the course. In-house faculty, they are also part of the
English and
English, languages, sciences,
okay, more.
and even psychology, and they are also part of it.
Okay.
Basics, when we're explaining, they'll also be.
Yeah.
Apart from our commerce stream.
Okay. In English languages also, many have done on the translation studies or the linguistics, the topics related to the poetry. Some might have done on Shakespeare. I'm not so good on language side, but whatever comes to my mind, I'm telling. Many might have done research in that particular. What I wanted to say is that the topic which you have done your PhDs, you can continue working in that area, what I wanted to say is select one area of your interest first, not simply publishing. Suppose many what we do is we will select this time one topic, we'll publish one paper, and next time we will publish on some other topic. Not like that. If you stick to one particular area, suppose if you are interested in banking sector, you stick only to the banking sector. Many issues are there, or credit worthiness, or NPS. Many issues will be there in the financial domain. If you are working in the stock market, stick to that. Means you should be known by that particular. What I mean to say is, whatever domain you select, you keep on revolving around that domain to publish, to link wherever you work, you link your broader area. Broad area should be your only. You should not deviate from the broad area. That is very, very important. You can include many things into it, but broad scope should not be deviated. So that your research also, when you publish 3-4 papers, that broader area knowledge will get enhanced and you will become an expert in that particular area. That's what I wanted to say. Broad area, you should not deviate. You may select any topic, but broader perspective should not be whatever you have done, your doctorate. That broader frame should not be, because the doctorate is not a small time period. You might have spent 4 to 5 years of our valuable time in doing. So that can be your broader scope, and you can add you in under that. You can publish any thing without deviating the domain specific area of interest. So that is the first priority when coming to the research. Can be defined as a search for knowledge or as a systematic investigation to establish facts. What actually we wanted to do here. Research may be systematic, logical, empirical, deductive, and replicable. Means here, whether you wanted to publish here, when very important thing is, you tomorrow Dr. Chandrasekhar will speak on perspective writings. That is one way. Means there is one idea already generated. What is your perception on that particular area? We can write that. That is a descriptive paper. When coming to the logical and empirical, so you can, with the descriptive is different, logical and empirical. Using some model, empirical research paper. That is special. Using some model, you wanted to prove that this is correct. One important thing is, those some are very good in understanding the statistical jargons. Some cannot pick up very easy. You can do a descriptive analysis or logical analysis or deductive or replicable also, because replicable means some have done research in that particular area. So you wanted, if you come up with any topic, I can take it as an example and explain. Can you come ask me, madam, you take this as an example and quote? You can ask me. I'll take it and explain. Do you have any ideas of what topics? Online also, participants, you can say, madam, can you focus on this topics? If you can throw 3-4, I can take them as an examples and cover the issue so that you can connect very easily. Just throw some topics. Employee retention, yes. Any other topic? Any other?
Ma'am, social
Work-life
activism.
balance.
Ma'am, social
Okay,
activism.
work-life balance
online.
and employee retention. This is there. Some have already might have done research in employee retention and work-life balance. Many have done research in it. So what new you wanted to do in that? That is, you wanted to prove the work-life balance. Easy to, there is a woman work, again in work-life balance, woman work-life balance, you wanted to focus on the gender, or general work-life balance you wanted to see. So you have to have a question. What question we should have? Employee retention. So after COVID, what is employee retention perspective? That is, many might have done already researchers in this. These are not new. You wanted to take one problem out of it, wanted to prove through empirical evidence, or you wanted to use reductive method or replicable. Means you wanted to narrate again and see that this research is correct and wanted to replicate. Suppose she is talking about work-life balance in corporate sector. Replicable. You may take the work-life balance in academic sector, or you can, means you wanted to replicate it to different sectors. Researchers have already done. Or prove using some model, or you wanted to draw some logical what actually you wanted to do. First, we should know when we take any topic, whether you wanted to do a empirical research, or you wanted to a descriptive research, or you wanted to replicate already some works. Because when we do, I have those things. When we do research, first what we will do? We'll do literature search. That is very important. Suppose if you have selected topics, any other new topics, online participants, please be active on your speakers and you can say any of the topic of your interest. No one is responding. Okay.
Good morning, ma'am.
Offline, any other topics?
Good morning, ma'am.
Huh? That is a big topic. Launch of Make in India means what you wanted to. Network security, that is your science topic. Means under network security, that's what. That is a broader thing. Like ma'am is telling handloom sector, under Make in India handloom. Again, under what I am telling is, you first have a discussion that what you wanted to do. As we are having discussion like work-life balance or employee retention, or what is network security, or handloom sector, again in Make in India. So first you discuss among your colleagues or the friends or the department. So every department, because you are all, this is a focused group program, what I wanted to say is that first in your department of science or English or commerce, whatever, when you have a discussion, what topics we can have for our research. In the next 1 year, we wanted to publish. If you don't have a targets, we don't publish. In the next 1 year, in our department, because 7 to 8 people are select 3-4 topics. The topic selection is also very important. Write on your department board. These are the 4 topics. Is the titling. Broader topic is important. Then titling the topic. We will talk on that also. So first select what topics you wanted to do work and who wanted to collaborate with whom. First form the teams and start discussing. Start discussing what is what. Through discussions, you can arrive at a correct title. First, title it. Title your topic in a rough way. After literature review, again, we will go back and retitle your paper. So title is very important. If you title it first, then from that your objectives, from that your methodology, from that your hypothesis, research questions, all should have a link with the title of the paper. So first select the broad area, then title it. How you will, if we sit and start browsing, that will not work out. If you commit with teams, then we will work. Otherwise, we don't. Because individual publications nowadays, individual research doesn't carry much value. If you have 2-3 people of your group, then discuss among yourselves and share the work. Then things will go very fast. So first, initially, so when you select among these, what type of empirical you wanted to do, or replicable, or perspective analysis, first you select that. Then after that, types of research, what type of research you wanted to do. Whether you wanted to, will come from the down. Do you want to do a case study? That is also very good. Paper means don't immediately get into a lot of confusion and all. Case studies also, if you do a good case study, they will get published. Case study also. So you can work on a case study. How to write a case, because it is an imaginary. Again, we have a lot of material available on the net. Again, another important thing is, first after selecting your topic, then select the journal where you wanted to publish. That is very important. Because each journal has a different style of writing, style of acceptance. So select the journals which are probably in your particular area. As she said, talking about network securities, or you were talking about handloom sector, or work-life HR related. So select the journals first, 5, 6 or 7, 8, dump in your laptop or somewhere and start reading those journals. First start reading the journals, their articles. Actually what this journal published every month, read for 3-4 journals, one volume. If 3 people wanted to work together, share among 3 of you each journal and start reading that, what actually they are publishing. So you will come across your related articles also in that journals. First, what is their style of writing? What they are accepting? Some will formatting and logic behind writing the paper. What is their objectives and what is their methodology? Is this journal is more focusing on mathematical thing, or is this journal is descriptive or replicable or case studies? So how this journal is accepting? So read 4-5 volumes of their publications among yourself. Then you will get a hold on that writing. Then what are the tips? How they are writing? First, start reading the articles. Focus more on the articles already published. Without reading those articles, you cannot focus on your article. First, we'll understand the style of writing, how they are writing. First, we should understand that. Then, when you start browsing the articles, we will find all the styles we cannot catch. Means some will use high English, some will use more mathematics, some will use more methodology. Some articles you feel comfortable. Yes, this style I can write. You may gain a confidence as I can write an article in this style. So download keep those style of articles aside and start. That is replicable. Already some have done work in some area. So you wanted to work in some other sector. Model, you need not copy everything, but the idea you can pick up. Ideas can be picked up and you keep in with you and you write. Now, is it a case study based writing, or you wanted to publish a survey based article? Survey means, as she said, work-life balance. Or you wanted to run a questionnaire, circulate among them and get the data, primary analysis and publish, or a case study, or a historical research. Historical means literature review. Because some have done like this in this particular area 2 years back, because now that systematic literature review has gained a lot of importance, because in this particular topic, how many have done research in this? Like that people are again doing research, replicating that. So whether you wanted to have a historical research or methods, analysis, whether true or not, you wanted to analyze and prove it. Analysis means work-life balance comparison between men and women. Employee retention between men and women, you wanted to see. Or at what degree, means higher education level, or again you can link it to where BTechs or master level or PhD. Again, you can introduce some variables there, how you wanted to search. Again, that can be analytical. Those things are called analytical studies. Means if you introduce a variable focused study. Variable focused means that is topic is general, but you are limiting yourself to a particular area, particular corporate or gender or age or the education level. If you are variable constraint, means that will be more analytical. Experimental research, science students, as she's stating, some network analysis that can be done only through experiment. Either you may use some model. I am not so good in IT related things, but I can imagine and say that you might be working on a machine learning or artificial intelligence, AI tools you might be using. Some experiment you can conduct and do. That is science, especially those who are doing chemistry or biology, or that is an experimental research they will do. And action research, evaluation studies. Action research, again, it is a primary based one. If you wanted to study some evaluation studies, or already many might be working on Manrega schemes or the Government of India schemes. Many of people keep doing on various schemes also. So that is called evaluation study, means that is already implemented. Those programs are already, even you are telling handloom sector. Suppose what are the financial benefits are, many will be doing on farmers. So already those things are implemented. Jan Dhan Yojana, already implemented programs. Those are all. Make in India, already implemented. Those are all evaluation studies, already implemented. But again, you wanted to test and see whether how far that is correct or not. That is called, those are called action research and evaluation and diagnostics. You wanted to prove using some techniques, yes, this is right or this is wrong. So those are, see, the way of conducting a research when you do a, that's what you first, after titling, you wanted to first specify whether you wanted to do a case study model, you wanted to do a survey model or a historical research or analytical or evaluation. Next is you have to identify which model you wanted to follow, which type of research. Suppose if you start with an analytical and end up in descriptive, logic will be missing and your paper will not get accepted. So first you select which style you wanted to follow. Then it can be a descriptive research also. Means descriptive research mainly goes in policies, policy evaluation, policy studies already, like what to say, textiles policy, or that is cyber security law is there. Like that, many government of India laws and amendments, acts, policies are there. So you can descriptively, you can narrate that how far this policy is correct. Because under policy aspects, you cannot use any statistical tools or techniques. What policy, environmental policy or carbon emission policy, cyber security policy, many laws are there. Waste management, there are many government of India policies are there on various issues coming up. So even banking regulations, Basel III approaches. So how far these policies are able to support the, whether what research you can do in that, what is the aim of that policy, how it is implemented, is it in line with the policy objectives or not. You can descriptively prove that. You can descriptively prove taking various. Then how to get the idea, because even I am not done many things. How we will get an idea when you wanted to make a paper as your policy paper? First again go back and read. What was the policy publication? See, when you wanted to publish, important thing is, suppose next year by 24 December or 25 March, my paper need to get accepted. So from today onwards, you should spend at least 1 or 2 hours for thorough reading. Reading is very important of various articles. Unless we read, we can't see to copy paste somewhere. It will never work out. You should start collecting the articles. Really, as I told you, identify the journal, start collecting the articles, then start reading. Every day you should give some. Then only new idea you will get generated. Oh, if you do like this, this will be very useful. Like that, he has done a very good study. Because again, in that particular area also, there are well-known researchers. Well-known researchers for every area of your work. Many good researchers, known people are there in every field of research. So first you need to read those articles. Those articles, known researchers' articles. Suppose if you go, many might be aiming for going to a higher promotions or to the next level in interviews. Some may ask the question, suppose if you say you are cyber security, who are the well-known researchers in that particular area, whose articles are very well, good researcher, to name 1 or 2 people. Even in the English literature also, there are very good researchers in the particular. First, we should know who are the researchers, very good known people in that particular domain of research. That is very important. And another thing is, when you publish, you should always look at the recent articles. What are the recent publications? If you quote the 1980 or 1979, okay, those are older research things are very important, but you should not stop at 89 or 90. You should continue till 2022, at least recent publications, and observe the trend, observe the variation in the publication pattern. What is the pattern of research that is coming up in the particular area? Or many are doing case study analysis, or people are doing action research in this particular, or evaluation studies are going on. First start observing, first collect the information, read and start observe, and have your own writing. You can put your own one Microsoft Word, or you can put one note. Some are good in making note in the physical notes, or some are good in computers. You can have your own notepad and start noting down. Reading is first fundamental thing. Identify the, after reading of your group, identify the topic. Then after identifying, you say, come to a conclusion whether you wanted to do action research or that is first, the third step. Then coming to the pure and applied research. It is a study of search of knowledge. It is a study of finding solutions to a problem. See, applied research applies mainly to the science. Pure is a study of knowledge, is a social science or management subject. Applied research mainly goes to the scientific proving of a problem. Solution we will find out. We will may arrive at or picking out the bugs or finding some new, coding some new things and all will come in the science research. So you should find some solution to it. Pure research, it can contribute new facts. It can put theory to the test. It may aid in conceptual clarification, and it may integrate previously existing theories. See, whether you wanted your research to be integrated with already existing theories or conceptual clarification you wanted to bring in, or it can put theory to test, whether you wanted to again test and see. You wanted to see and disprove some other theory. Because when it comes to the, one second, when writing an article in materials and methods, when coming to the method analysis part of your data analysis, you should always refer to your results to some other literature. Suppose my result says that work-life balance among women is more, is very difficult if I come out. But this has already done by some X person. So when you were wanted to prove your hypothesis using some result, already existing facts also might be there. They also have done this already, and they proved that the work-life balance among the women is very stressful and difficult for them, as already done. But my study, what is a gap in that? What is your study focused on that? My study shows that you can introduce some new variable that among the age group of 40 to 50, it is difficult. You can introduce some new string variable there. Means you are quoting the existing research, and added to that you are giving conceptual clarification to the already existing done research, because it should always say publication should always be changed. If some other person reads, then already 1, 2, 3, fourth person is doing. That means he should be able to change this 1, 2, 3, and fourth person research should come there. Like that, you need to make it. It should not be a completely different namesake publication. No, it should not be a namesake publication. It should be a very research-oriented linking. Yes.
Like any issue we can take and then we can do the survey and we can continue.
Yeah, you can do perspective. You can do. It doesn't mean that science only application part only. I have to only prove this, but descriptive things all that's what. Any gap if you find in the existing research, you can do that already. Yeah, science also you can do. You can find the gap like that. But I cannot give you more examples, because if you might have told, I would have prepared 1 or 2 articles, read and come. But I don't know that science and other students also, faculty are also there. Otherwise, I would have done little bit homework, because we don't come simply because even I read a lot and coming to, because we need to have the example quoting also. So taking all the faculty, it's okay. I'll try to manage. If you have that, also you can ask. X is a problem. Can you name anything? Explanatory research is preliminary study of an unfamiliar problem about which the research has little or no. Can you give one example so that I can speak on this?
Life cycle financial needs of food. Actually, my thesis is on that. That was exploratory research. That's what I told.
What is that?
Life cycle financial needs of women. It is a
Life cycle financial needs of
women.
Women. Yes, that can be an explanatory one, because we don't know. We know little about that. We wanted to know more about financial literacy also. We because now we are calling in a smart way fintech. The word fintech has gained a lot of importance, especially in areas where the knowledge on the financial literacy is very much limited on the technology platform. The researchers has little knowledge. We don't know. We think that we know all apps and all the people also know, but we don't know that how much percentage of the population are really aware of the financial literacy. We wanted to test and see. the financial literacy among the people in the urban areas or rural or among the age groups again. So research means it is your smart way. Already many have conducted in different domains. You can read and then you will get a new idea. Suppose if I conduct this same model to the semi-urban areas, or if I conduct this to the adding new mobile apps and see how that is among the young youth. Already you know very little, but how much of we are under the hypothesis or assumption that the entire youth are well versed in technology. That is our assumption. But we wanted to, that may not be correct. Or what is the percentage of youth population out of 130 crores of Indian population? Among that youth, how many are educated? How many are in rural areas? How many are in urban? How many are undergraduates, postgraduates, who are educated, illiterate, school dropouts? A lot of population. This is called total population. Again, I am linking that. Then you need to select the sample out of that. What is your sample size? Because you can't study the entire population. Whether you wanted to restrict yourself to some areas or you wanted to, again, I wanted to tell you, yes, many will publish basing on the referring to particular district or particular locality or local. That is also correct in the early stages. When your research, you start enhancing your scope and knowledge of understanding, it should not be limited only to a particular area. You should give a research. You should think that when I am writing, how many crores of people are reading my paper, because it's a worldwide. On the web you are uploading, the entire world will look at your paper. So the people sitting in the south northeast corner of the world countries, are they interested in the district of the local Telangana of a particular place? Initially it is okay. Step by step we should have. In the initial stages, beginning of your research, yes, we can. So when you start a frequent publisher, when you become a frequent writer, then you should slowly upscale your horizon of your research and expand to the global perspective. Slowly you can start, but every time don't limit yourself to a particular areas, but slowly you will enhance the problem to the state level, national level, and to the world global level. No, it's like that you can publish. Same series you can work out. Suppose same model you have worked out for a local district level. You can look at the national level. You can increase your sample size. And then you can cross-country comparisons, cross-state comparisons, inter-country comparisons. You can do an international comparison studies also. We can publish. Many might be working on foreign direct investments or NRA deposits because or the banking related issues, or many are working in different areas of their interest. So that can go at a global level also. Some topics can go at a global level. So suppose if you take schemes, they cannot go at a global level. National level, yes. Interstate, how that is in other parts of the country, you can take it. And is the same thing applied in some other parts of the country, or also you can see how their governments are, how Federal Reserve is working, how South Asian perspective, like that is a bigger zone you can expand. But in the early baby steps, yes, you can see the local comparisons, then national. You can limit to the cross-country comparisons. Same models you can. Suppose some in your literature, if you come across this financial literacy as you have among women is done in some districts, if you then expand that to the national level or state comparisons, then push up to the how that is in the complete world. That is a different thing at the higher level. So you can do an explanatory, yes.
Now, if it is like a primary database, I don't bringing the worldwide rather than.
Yeah, primary data, yes, you cannot. Secondary data you can. Worldwide you cannot do, but primary data analysis cannot go to that you cannot. That is already known. There is no doubt about it. Yet it's districts and that's what I told you. District level to national, you can have cross-state comparisons. You can have a primary data there. But international state, that's what. International comparison publications are different. If you read, you will understand. There you can go. That's what I told you. International comparisons can go with some other topics related to the banking regulations or foreign direct investments or NRI deposits or the working of the manufacturing sector or the service sector performances, where you can get good secondary data. Yes, you can do a very good comparisons. That's what it depends. That will, you need not think that I am not doing a world comparison. No, you can say that this is the Indian scenario. People look at India because when they look at the world, when we present in the international platform, when I went to the World Urban Forum in Abu Dhabi, 190 countries have participated, and we have done a primary study on the waste management issues in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. And because this Modi Swachh Bharat issues have come up. So I thought, who will present on this international platform? No, like South African countries, Kenya, Nairobi, they are very much interested in the how China or Korea, these people are very much interested in knowing the facts and figures of the Indian scenario. When you make a presentation at an international platform with your primary data also, if you go for an international conference, that attracts the other countries because they wanted to see how that is performing in India. Again, research. You should always go for a national seminars. If you make your presentations on these platforms, you will have a very good interaction also. Many people will interact with you and share there. You can also ask questions afterwards and get some ideas, and you can come back and you can enhance your existing papers or already working papers also. Again, another important thing in the publication also, don't make your publication as a final. First, bring it into a working paper level. First, make it a working. What is the difference between final paper and work? You make the paper and send to your, share with your only confidential say zone, the hard copies only, not the soft copies, to give their ideas. Because today, the once you upload on the, why I'm telling hard copies, not the soft copies, this plagiarism is killing us. Like, and once you upload, somewhere it will appear on the web. Even if you share through internet also, we don't know because we are not so good in those things, but share among your peer group and take their comments. Is it correct or not? Do I require your professors or your guides, your university? You can share with them and a hard copy and ask them to give their comments on that, physically written, handwritten comments. You can take and you can improve on that before sending it to a publication, before getting a comments from a reviewer. First, get some internal comments. To make a precise formulation of the formula and to gather information for clarifying concepts and to determine whether it is feasible to attempt this study or not. So this, from here we are starting. First, what is the, in your paper, first you should write what is the purpose of my paper. Purpose, to determine whether it is feasible to attempt the study or not. First, you should know the purpose to make a precise formulation of the problem. If you see any paper, you will find purpose of the study. In the abstract itself, some styles purpose you will find. Somewhere you will find aims and objectives. Somewhere you will find the statement of the problem. Like that, first you should define purpose. What is my purpose of doing this? Who are my target audience? Who are going to benefit by reading my research? That is, which sector, which community I am targeting. Which community I am targeting, who are going to benefit from my research. Don't think that when you are doing a research or writing a paper, that is not, don't think that it should help us in getting some credits or some personal enhancement. It will definitely, last stage is our personal growth. But who are going to read this? First, have that idea. When I publish, who will going to benefit this paper? Who are going to, because many people will read once that is published. So whom you are targeting? So you are you targeting the government? Suppose it is a policy issue. Many may read, government ministries may read your paper, or if it comes out, or RBI will read the papers. If you read the many of the commerce people, always please follow RBI working papers. On RBI website, you will find RBI working papers. Every month they will publish a paper. Lot of statistical things will be there, but you will generate some good ideas. If IMF working papers, if you see their working papers, RBI working papers, you will get very good ideas on the commerce topics or the finance related topics. In the same way, if you go to the science students, if you go to the DSC website, many of them will be doing research in that and putting on the Ministry of Science and Technology. If you read that, they have a separate wing of research and development. If you see that, you will find many good research articles. That is the original research. That comes from their own internal research. That will also give you a good understanding and idea how to frame your topics. Then to increase the researcher's familiarity with the problem. So what is the problem you wanted to identify? As she said that literacy of the financial literacy among the women. But when you title the topic to study the financial literacy among women, first, what is the purpose? Why you wanted to do that? What is the purpose behind it? What is the purpose?
Ensure that, they start using financial products.
No.
Or they start understanding actually.
Your purpose is to know whether how many of them are really aware of the literacy. Your purpose is to know. You are not making others to know. You are knowing and publishing and making others to understand the state of affairs. So your purpose is to understand this first. Then you will title a problem, statement of the problem. From statement of the problem comes a hypothesis. First, you should have purpose. What is the purpose of my topic? Where I wanted to do? To clearly create awareness among the people about the state of financial literacy among the women. What is the existing state of the purpose? Defining the purpose in your article is very, very important. In the introduction part itself, you should mention your purpose. What is the purpose of when you while writing the introduction, when you are titling the purpose that of to create to know how much percentage of the people are financially literacy, and again you need to quote again there with the literature. Background of this research, you should write that why you wanted to do, because you should mention that today the macroeconomic scenario, financial literacy is very important and IT related financial awareness need to be created. What are the problems in that if the people doesn't have? Then comes the purpose. If you highlight the problem, then the purpose, the gap, there is a gap, so I wanted to do the research. So gap analysis in the introduction part, first you should state the gap of any subject related gap identification and explaining. Launching of the introduction is very important. You should highlight the gap in that and start writing, narrating, and who already pitching the gap. Any researcher, literature. Review will support. Some X have done in this area, some Y, but that is not limited. Much of the research need to be done in this. So I identify. So your purpose is very well established. My purpose is to study this. So if you yes.
So the gap should not come after literature review. You mean when we're writing paper?
Introduction. No, gap can be research gap is different. You are generalizing holistic. Where is a gap in the economy? Research gap. Again, you are going. Grassroots gap is different. You are wanted only female. You are talking about financial literacy. In general, you are talking report you are writing. When you come to your research hypothesis and research gap, that is different. See, if PhD writing a research gap, we will write in the introduction itself when you convert into. See, when you read more, important. Even if you listen also, you don't catch up. When you read only, we will understand and we can talk among our peer groups. Descriptive research study is a fact-finding investigation with adequate interpretation. It is the simple type of research. It is designed to gather descriptive information and provide information for formulation more sophisticated studies. Data are collected using observation, interview, and evaluation. As she is that is through the Ministry of Make in India concept that you were doing many schemes under that textile. So it is simple type of research. Descriptive is a fact-finding investigation with adequate interpretation. So you wanted to, that is a descriptive analysis designed to gather descriptive information. You will collect the data, either observations or interview, as she mentioned that primary data analysis. Descriptive mainly, descriptive research will gain momentum or will gain life when you do a personal interactive questionnaire, not only questionnaire based, if you have interviews and observations also, personal, if you go to field and make a very good observation, have an interactions, and descriptive research can also have a case study also, as separate cases also can be developed with personal observation and interviews and presenting the facts. You are presenting the facts, that's it. You are not doing any additional thing, that is fact finding. You are showing the facts, existing facts, what are there. Are the really handloom people are suffering? How much grants they are getting from the government? Or when you go to the ground level, their experience is entirely different. And what the experience we get through our reading is different. So from the reports, analysis is different. From the grassroots research analysis will be different. So actually, are they really suffering? Are they really getting? Are they really helping them? Some may say we are very much benefited. Some may say we have not received anything. So which section of the population have not received? You may press. That is called a descriptive analysis. Data are collected using observation, interviews, and mailed questionnaires. You may, as she said, primary analysis. One second. Primary analysis is simply sending them. Nowadays, what we are doing, creating a Google form and and come to our desk. No, always, if you in the initial stages, if you don't go to the observer and do the interviews, you will not gain complete knowledge. You may write a paper, but when you go to the seminar and make a presentation, the audience will not get a feel that you have a touch on the ground. If you go and meet people, then you will come to know their problems. We will understand how that is, are they really helping the scheme is converted into a benefit oriented or not. The descriptive research will definitely have a primary analysis that will be very helpful. Yes, madam.
Government of India is proposed some of the cyber laws. So we can take or we can challenge any one law.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, yes, that you can do. It can come under, because cyber law, it can come under the computer science. That's what you select the journal. You cannot challenge the act, but you can see what are the existing practices and what is the aim of that law. Is it the existing practices are really in line with that law or not? You can do a descriptive analysis. Even you can circulate a questionnaire, you can meet people, take their ideas and draw a research and a descriptive. Yes, that is good.
Those are not comes under that rule, but they have furnished by them. So we can question those type of things.
Yes, you can question those type of, but when you question those things, any paper, if you wanted to put a question oriented, it should be supported with some argument. If you have any argument, it is supported. When you question, how can you question? Unless you meet some people, yes, that is the situation. You should present the situation and then put a question. If you simply say, some will write a vague statements that these laws are not in line with the policies, how can you come to know? You should have, no? So these laws are not in line with that because we have conducted research, our findings, the observations that we have collected, our findings from the study shows that when we have met these people, these are our observations. Therefore, it may say, always, or please don't use the statement words in your writings. We may say that these laws are not in line. Like that, you can, English is different, but broader idea, I hope you understood. So any statement should be supported by your observations. Any argument, research argument should be supported by your observations. Or sit down. are supported by the data. If you are doing a secondary data analysis, arguments should be supported by the data. How can you say that this is correct? How can you say that the 20% of the population among women are not financially literate? How can you pass that argument? Yes, that is supported by your data analysis, or that is supported by your personal interviews, or that is supported by some observations on the field, grassroots level. Like that, you can do argument should be supported by your either secondary data or primary data or interviews or observations. That can be a descriptive research. Why it is not moving? This is done, no? So descriptive research purpose, it can focus directly on a theoretical point. It can highlight important methodology aspects of data collection and interpretation. That's what. Important methodology aspects means interviews or discussions, what methodology you wanted to use, and data collection and then interpretation. It obtained in a research may be useful for prediction about areas of social life outside in the boundaries of research. Descriptive studies are valuable in providing facts needed for planning social action programs. So whom you are targeting? Policymakers, government, who should read your things? Generally, descriptive research is like that. That is always helpful. So diagnostic studies, it is directed towards discovering what is happening, why is it happening, and what can be done about it. Like COVID, it is diagnostic. Why it has happened, why, to whom it has happened, what is the outcome of that, what are the results, because many people are doing research on COVID pandemic. So after, because even they are linking to the pandemic also. Pandemic has become a big research domain, umbrella, before and after, because the life has started again. So after pandemic, how it has started. So you can even have that broader idea of making a research topic as after before pandemic studies, how the retention level, as she told, employee retention after pandemic, because many have companies have run into losses, and whether people are sustained in their jobs or not, you can, or even in the job perspective also, some are stressed. So what happened after that? You can do a diagnostic study. It aims at identifying the causes of the problem and solution. So what is the cause? Pandemic is a cause. What is the solution that you can find out? So work from home. Easy work from home, grieving a stress to the people. Again, that is a big topic for research many are doing, especially is work from home a good option or not for the employees? Is creating stress more, or going out to the office and creating job is generating? That is a diagnostic study. These are called diagnostic studies, because there is a problem, you are diagnosing it, aim at identifying the cause. So if we say that it is creating stress at home, what is the cause? Why it is creating stress at home? Because why the output is not more? Because deviations, diversions will be more at home. You cannot focus. If you keep everything and come out, then our output will be more. If we are ahead at home, diversions might be more. Diagnose. You can diagnose in any way. You can say that this is the cause and this is the effect. Cause and effect relationship is diagnostic studies. You can identify. The study may also be concerned with discovering and testing whether certain variables are associated. What are the major variables? Health variable is associated, stress variable is associated. You can diagnose which variable you wanted to highlight. Again, link to your hypothesis. You might hypothesize that yes, after COVID, the output working from home is not generating more output. It might be your hypothesis. So output is more or not, you wanted to see. You can't be, hypothesis should not be a biased one. Biased means if I say like that, work from home has reduced the output. It is a biased hypothesis. Means you are already saying that work from home has reduced the output. That means you are already biased. You are under the impression that work from home has reduced, or work from home has increased the output. That means also biased. You say that some people love to work from home. We can leisurely work from morning to night, we can increase the output. That is also a biased argument. So then what is an unbiased argument? Can you anybody say? In this, what is an unbiased argument? I say two arguments, two hypotheses. Work from home has increased the output. Work from home has decreased the performance. Two biased arguments. The performance level, again I'm repeating, performance level has come down because of work from home. Performance level has increased because of work from home. These two, somebody may take these two as hypotheses, but these two are not hypotheses. These are biased hypotheses. Then what is an unbiased hypothesis?
Significant difference.
There is a significant difference in performance. There is no relationship between work from home and performance. You are indifferent. There is no relation. You wanted to, that is, you are null. There is no difference in, that is your statement. There is no difference in performance. There is no relationship between performance and whether you work from home or work from office or work sit on road, or but there is no relationship. That is your feeling. You can sit on under the tree, put a table and a laptop, you can work. That is our feeling. We are immaterial where you sit and work, but performance doesn't have any impact on the place where you work. That is your feeling, unbiased. That is your assumption, but you wanted to test and see. So that is an unbiased. So hypothesis should be like that. It should not be a biased hypothesis. So English you can change. There is no relationship, or there is no impact, or the performance of performance and the workplace has no impact. You can, you can use any good English and refine this statement. This is the basic talk that there is no impact or there is no relationship. Once you sit and read 2-3 iterations, you can frame in a better way. English always. So always when you write any paragraph, first when you are writing any article, if you write, suppose in 15 days you may write introduction is completed. Again you go back. First, in the first cut, we always focus on the subject landing, understanding. But in the second iteration, you focus on language. Language means not is, was, or were. Anybody, grammar, spell check, many have come today, quilt, bolt, many, what is our famous, this thing? Chat GPT. So many have come up. But what is important is your way of writing. Everyone have their own style of writing. So the same word can be expressed in different ways. So that you should build your own style. So in the second or third iteration, bring your style of writing. Same thing. So now what is the hypothesis? That there is no relationship in building. So purpose. The study may also be concerned with discovering, testing whether certain variables are associated. We have already framed the hypothesis that there is no relationship in the performance and the place you work. So you wanted to test and see whether that statement is, your hypothesis is correct or not. Suppose if you arrive at a conclusion that you may introduce many variables there. You may introduce performance, or you may generate a questionnaire, or you may go for an interviewing people who are working in office, who are working in home, and who are these two sections of the people. You may go for a personal interviews and they will come. So you are again passing the arguments that working from home the performance has really improved a lot. How can you pass that statement? Because it should be supported by some associated variables. What I am talking about, associated variables plays a very important. With what variables you are going to support that argument? Your hypothesis, rejecting the hypothesis. Again, you are using different models. Some variables will have a high value of, if you do a regression, high value T value will be very good for some variables. So you are simply concluding that because these variables are statistically proved, yes, that your mental status or the ambience or many other variables are free time way is a one variable, and lack of monitoring is another way, because nobody will monitor or some, but IT people will be online always. So some variables will have a very good positive impact, some will have a negative impact. So with those very associated variables, you will prove your hypothesis or reject your hypothesis, and you say that you can't say that there is no relationship. Yes, there is a relationship. Performance and work from home are positively related. Performance and work from office are positively related. You may select either alternate H1 or H2. You can have many. For every objective also, you can have one hypothesis. Your objective is to see the performance. So you can have first objective one hypothesis, second objective one hypothesis. But always in the early stages of baby steps, researchers have only one hypothesis. Don't have 2, 3 hypotheses. Have only one hypothesis and do the study. So that's it. That is how we will frame the hypothesis. So always, so purpose we have done. Now, when we talk about research questions, so once we frame the hypothesis, okay, this topic is all of you are well connected. Let us discuss only on this, that the performance has improved on, there is no relationship. So we have already designed one paper that we wanted to see work on the performance evaluation or the performance of employees either from work from home or work from office. You wanted to differentiate. We wanted to analyze a comparative study. You can title it as a comparative study of work from home and work from office performance study. So you can coin it like that, because why we are saying it as a comparative or performance of the employees after COVID, a work from home and a work from office analysis, analytical study. If we analytical again means because you are using questionnaire based or you are using interviews, you can coin it in any way. The title is very important. Then you have hypothesized that there is no relationship. So you learn the hypothesis. Then how to frame the problems means statement of the problem. What is the statement of the problem? How will you frame a statement of the problem to this? Can anybody? How will you frame the statement of the problem? Hypothesis, yes, there is no relationship. So what is the statement of the problem? Or research questions otherwise. You can say, what are the research questions?
How we want to prove that in a step-by-step.
No, research questions are different. Means
First performance, ma'am. What is the
what is
performance
the
of
time?
the
I did not. Yeah, we can take a break. So think in the break time. So what can be the research objectives? Research questions. If you have a pen and paper also, you can take 2 to 3 minutes time. You note the questions, because we have finally come up with a good, I'm just finding one good topic to make it more elaborate to understanding. You all have connected this topic very well. So let us frame some statement of the problem and then research questions on this. I will support, so it can be an exercise-based orientation. Thank you so much. We'll have a break. Online participants also take a break for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and let us join again. Thank you. They can hear me. if
They
speak.
can hear you.
Yeah, voice is good.
Yes.
Okay. Good afternoon, good morning, online participants. If you have any issues to be discussed or any queries or any questions, you can post on the message box so that I can answer your questions because I can't hear you. It is connected to the voice speaker. So you post your questions so that I will take up after 10 to 15 minutes. I will look into your questions and I will address the online participants also simultaneously. Okay, thank you. Yeah, because time is not sufficient at all. It's already 12. You gave me 1 more hour time. So I hope hypothesis, you have already framed your hypothesis. It is direct, yes. Evaluation, these things, my research questions are, what is performance of work from home? Yeah. See, I gave the exercise, right? That you should frame the questions, research questions on the hypothesis. You have framed that there is no relationship between the performance and the work from home, and there is no relationship between performance and space of work, place of work. Means instead of work from home, or instead of, you can retitle it like this: no relationship between performance, has no relation with the place of work. You can say it as like that. So here we thought of framing the research questions. First we have to frame the research questions. So research questions, our online participants, they said, what is performance of work from home? Instead of saying what is performance of work from home, instead of that, you can say, how is the performance? To analyze the performance, how is the performance of work from home? How much is the, because we are planning to quantify. What means, again, what is the performance of work from home? There is no meaning for that. How is the performance? Otherwise, how will you perform? What are the tools you will use? Again, another research question can be, what are the tools you will use for to work from home or to work from office? Are you using any online platform? Are you using only offline, means sitting and correcting or doing the work, or connected to the online with the office people? Are you style? Another question. Working style means, are you working with group, whether sitting somewhere in India or somewhere other world, or in from different parts of Hyderabad itself, because each one come from home, because you are staying from to you away? Are you working in groups? If you work in teams, then your performance may be more. Are you, that's what, how you can, how you will, that can be another research question. Nature of job means, are you an IT person or a teaching fraternity or a government employee, or what is your nature of job that you do? From that also you can analyze the performance. So first, before putting the research questions, we should first identify the study variables. What are the variables that we can use? What are the variables? Variables means, like this. For performance, what variables can be? Your tools of the and office space, from where you will be working. That there are different variables that can come in. So, are you age group? Are you an youngster or a middle age? And also your hierarchy in the organization can be one variable. Means, so why we will take every variable should have a logical reason when you are selecting. Why I am level, at what level you are working in the organization? Means, suppose you are at the entry level, means your responsibility will be less. There will be no monitor. If anybody monitors, we will work. If at an entry level, that is normally the nature of the people. Now, suppose you are at the manager level, your responsibility will be more. Your performance from work from home will be more, because wherever you are, you keep talking with them and make the others to work. So at what entry level, middle level, or a higher level? Are you the boss? Are you the team lead? Like that, the questions can be. Means variables. First, if you select the variables, then you for every variable you can frame a research question. For every 2-3 set of variables, some again variables can be grouped into psychological variables. Some are quantifiable, some cannot be quantifiable. Some requires a primary data, some requires a secondary data also. Because again, what I wanted to say, some asked about data. It doesn't mean that every paper or every topic you select, It should only be based on primary data. No, you can even have a secondary data clubbed with primary. Some question, some portion, one research question can, hypothesis can require primary data. One hypothesis may require secondary data. So you can even present both primary and secondary, and you can either which model you wanted to select to run. It depends upon which data you wanted. If you may use primary data as an authentication to support your argument, and you wanted to run a model for the secondary data, you can do. Or you can use secondary data to support your argument. Yes, work from home is giving lot of performance. This is the performance of the companies in the last 5 years. You can present a table. Already existing data source you can take, and you can make a table and graph. Yes, the performance from houses, home also has really improved. The company has reached from these many crores to the next level. That company employees are working from home, but the performance has really have gone up. For that supporting argument, you can put a secondary data there. And to see in general you want to, you can use the primary data. For primary data, first you need to select the variables. Good morning, ma'am. Can I know how to justify do experimental research design? Yeah, I will clarify your doubt. So let us complete this research questions framing. So you first identify the variables. What are the, at least, see, variables need not be so many. 10 to 15 variables, not less than 5 to 6. At least if you have more variables, you may get some data. Initially, if you select 5, if you don't get data for the variables, you will be in trouble. So exhaustively, when selecting the variables, first you select more variables. 10 to 15 variables you select, and when you frame a questionnaire, some 10 variables may be come down, and 5 can be used for secondary data collection. 10 variables can be used for primary data collection. So research questions can be 5 to 6. 5 research questions are ideal. 10 is very exhaustive. For paper, you can have 5 research questions. So how you will, where you are working, what is your level of employment in an organization, what are the working hours, that can be one research. How many hours you will work per a day. If you are working hours, why, see, when you frame a research question, you should always even think of, is this question is reliable or not? How you will think, now I put a question, number of hours can be the one question we can have. How many hours of working? So is this question required or not? We can think. So if you ask a question, how many number of hours you are working, suppose it answer also you can imagine. Suppose my working hours, some say that the number of working hours are more stretch. Work from home means many keep working from morning to night 10 like that. If the number of hours are more, normally the performance may not be so good. Then you can have another question, how much interval of break, how much break you will take. If you have a good break, yes, that can be another variable. If you have good break time, yes, the performance. So this will go in a little bit of a bias, but I don't say that we will be biased. But while framing the questions is what answer we should get. Biased questions should not be there, but whether the reliable or required information we will get or not, you see and have the research questions. So what is the interval of gap interval? How many breaks you will take, or a lunch break? What is the duration of your lunch break at work from home? Are you following the same office timings as you do in office? And what is your travel time? Even sometimes travel time from work place to the office also will save time for us in improving your performance and all. So you can even take their family status also can be one question. Are you a bachelor or you a family? Because that also will have a lot of impact. If you work from home, a family person will have a lot of workload or the additional responsibilities. But even if he is a family or if he is a bachelor, working performance is one and the same, because it will not come in between. They may say that, but we can have a one variable. Let them speak. It does not have in even model framing. When you run a regression or if you do a ANOVA or comparison two-tail test, if this variable becomes dumb, means what to say, married or a single status is no impact in the team. If he does not get any p-value is less more than 0.05, that it means marriage status doesn't have any influence on the performance. Suppose distance from house to this is less than 0.5. Yes, travel distance has no influence. If the working timings from 10 to 1, if the variable gets good 0.01 or 2, yes, this variable is having more impact. Time factor. If this variable, like that, if you first frame the variables, then from there you frame the research questions. For this variables, you collect the questionnaire, frame the questionnaire basing on the variables. First, variable selections. That's what we call it as a conceptual framework in research. First, you should have a conceptual framework. What are the variables that I wanted to study? Suppose I wanted to study these variables, as ma'am asked me to add my research experience also into it. Some of the research studies what we have done. Suppose I have done a project for on social, what is the technology transfer impact on the GDP, technological impact of GDP on three sectors: agriculture, industry, and the service sector. Means is technology activity. Is technology is impacting the productivity or not in the three sectors we have tested. That is based on the secondary data we have collected in the agricultural sector. Suppose what is the technology impact in the agricultural sector? What variables we will take? Now, hypothesis or our assumption, yes, technology transfer has an impact on the productivity, or technology and productivity has no relation. We have to see whether this is already given study. So we will see and observe. So what is the technology transfer in agriculture? Are you using any machinery for sowing of the seeds? Are you using nowadays drones are used to sow the seeds? Or sprinkling of the fertilizers is also done by drones, and seedling also are also done by machinery. So mechanization of agriculture, lot of machinery is using. Whether productivity has gone up or not. So the number of machinery used, it is having more productivity or not, or the fertility of the soil, soil testing equipment, like that. These are the we have identified, we have used, tested them, and we have run the regression. Again, which variable? Again, we have used, madam asked me what are the tools that can be used for secondary data analysis. So there we have used a factor analysis or principal component analysis, because when more variables are more, suppose if you take more variables, so you can use, excuse me.
You have to say, did you refer any review literature?
If you have more variables, you can use more factor analysis, composite factor analysis or principal, because dimensionalities will be reduced and only required variables. What are the variables that will be useful? They will only fall into your matrix. That is one number of variables that you select. The good model can be your factor analysis. So dimensionalities will be reduced, and what only again in that research what we did is, then we should have our own contribution. We have developed a matrix. We have developed the matrix, what are the basing on the three components of a service matrix. We have developed agricultural matrix and industry matrix. So in that, what are the variables, interrelationship we have observed sectors. That was our observations, how the technology transferred had impacted the productivity. So that is a very good study sponsored by the total service sector. We have all the service components, industries also. That is a broader research, manufacturing sector, how that basing on the annual survey of industries data, to collect the data. What are the data sources? I hope you asked. What are the data sources means how to find. You only asked, right? Yeah. So data sources, from where to get the data. So basing on the first, for secondary data sources, madam, I think you asked. For secondary data sources, basing on the topic that you have selected. Normally, for secondary data, reliable information is mostly Government of India publications, Government of India statistics, depending upon the subject you are referring to. Suppose you are working on the macroeconomic variables or the banking sector, the best sources are RBI and World Bank sources of informations. You will find a very good data, World Bank statistics you will be getting. And even secondary data, many of them CMI reports, CMI database is also coming up with the secondary data sources, and even indiastat.com. That indiastat.com gives you many of the statistics, but what they did is they have them collect the things from the published ministry statistical reports, and they are putting it in Excel form. Again, we need not enter. When we did research in 94 and 96, we used to take the Government of India publication. Suppose if we are doing agricultural statistics, fertilizers means fertilizer statistics, or if it is an industry, again annual survey of industries. If it is public enterprises, it is a the annual report of public enterprises survey. Like that, every sector will publish surveys, data sources surveys. We used to take that, enter the data 10 years or 20 years times and do the analysis. That is and Indiastat.com. This data we need not enter. It will directly get converted into your Excel sheet, spreadsheets data. It is nowadays, thanks to the technology, it has become very easy for us to gather information or data. And again, for your finance, especially commerce, Bloomberg data. Bloomberg terminal is a very good terminal where it gives very reliable and authentic data. And even you can encourage students to get certifications in Bloomberg terminal. If you for your department also, if you have, you can purchase a Bloomberg terminal for because commerce, the students can get certifications in Bloomberg terminal. So Bloomberg data is very authentic on stock exchange, stock markets data. You will be getting lot of research can be data. These are the main data sources for the secondary data. And using the secondary data, the analysis ma'am asked about the tools that we can use for secondary data. Any of the model, it depends. Basic is entry level. You can use multi-regression model. First paper you publish for the secondary data, a multi-regression analysis. Simple regression you go. Simple regression you can learn. Many of the videos are available. You can use, tomorrow I will be showing you through Excel how to do regression, or you can use SPSS also. So simple 2-variable regression, multivariable. What is the difference between 2-variable and multivariable? As I told you, when selecting the variables, you are selecting many variables. When you do a regression analysis, suppose if you identify a model that I wanted to use regression analysis for this study, then select only 10 or 5 maximum, less than 10 variables you select, and do the or 5 variables for multi-regression. If you select 10 simultaneous regression model, again that will be little bit difficult for you. At the entry level, to start with, use 5 to 6 variables only you take. Suppose you wanted to do a factor analysis model, then you can have 15 or 20 variables also. That model itself will reduce the dimensionalities. If you collect the primary data and input that data and run the model, it will only reduce the dimension. Means whatever the variables that are not related fall into the domain of your objective, it will sizzle there itself and give you the put it what are the variables that are required, that dimensionalities will be reduced. Suppose that's what, depending upon the model you are doing, you can select the number of variables that you wanted to collect the information. Basically, you can have 5 research questions is the ideal for entry level. 5 research questions you have, a hypothesis of 2 you can have, and objectives. When you are writing a paper, don't have too many objectives. Have only one objective, because if it is a PhD, has 5 objectives, 3 objectives, 4 objectives. As she told us, she has completed her PhD. So for each objective, you can publish one paper. Don't put all the objectives and publish only one paper. From your PhDs, you can publish 3 to 4 papers with one objective, one hypothesis you can take, and your results of that first objectives, you can bring it as one paper. Like the 2-3 objectives can come in 2-3 papers, 2-3 publications you can make. When your PhD you can use for publications. But when you write a paper, have one holistic objective. one objective while writing your paper or two objectives to understand, because it is only limitation is that 10 to 15 pages paper is limit 3000 words or 5000, not more than that. So in 3 to 5000 words, you cannot conclude very easily. So if you have only one or two objectives, your material methods will take one place, means analysis. But in analysis, materials and methods, what are the materials that you have used, means the variables, what we call them as variable. Method, what method you have used. Is any other, again, literature survey will take 1 to 2 pages. You can be very much calculated, because that calculation will come when you read many papers. Start reading the papers. As somebody asked me, Madam, how you will divide your research objective and papers. So when we were doing, we used to collect the information, as I told you from the beginning. If we want to publish after 1 year, we start putting it in one folder. We will download and keep it there and start reading, because again, taking a printout and keeping it, and because when laptops have come, when technology have come, you can even, first what you have to do is, when you download the related papers, you first download 10 to 15 of your relation. Start reading. You will have one idea, no? You are framing one objective. So every time you refer the objective. While reading those papers, you refer the objective. Wherever you find that is a relevant portion or your thought is matching with the paper, you highlight there. Because now technology has come, you can keep yellow or any color highlighter. And again, you can even write in that to which objective this context is related. Even in PDF also, you can put a writing of your comments. If you are right click, you will find a comment box. There itself you write for which portion I wanted to take this idea. Just write a place there that this is related to first objective. This is related to second objective. Otherwise, color them. You can give your own code. She asked me how you do. So I am explaining. Suppose I have 1 or 2 objectives. First objective, I may select one yellow color. Second objective, green color. So I will code the context as per color. All yellow colors I will put, if 20 articles are there, the matter related to the one string. Yellow color goes with one portion explanation. Green color goes for the second level explanation. Third level, like that. My ideas generation, I can code it with color, or you can code with some numbers 1, 2. Basing on your own flexibility, you can code, and then study. First read. Again next day, put all yellow colors papers at one place. Then again you start reading. Always, if you read more only, your ideas will be generated. Otherwise, we cannot write. By reading and leaving, we don't know, the connection will be missing. You should establish one logical connection when you are reading the papers. What purpose after? See, sometimes we'll become blank. What purpose we are reading? We are all human beings, right? We cannot concentrate more time. We tell to our students, you focus, because sitting there for 3 hours and listening is not an easy task. If you ask me to sit, my mind keep roaming somewhere, and we have to send many things on WhatsApp, some things we are prone to our mobile looking in the, even if it is not required also, we are used to seeing some WhatsApp something. So our concentration will be diverted. So after some time, we will feel, for what we are reading this article. Sometimes we will miss. Again, look back to your objective, this thing, and again connect. So it is not a small exercise. It is a very big task. Getting a paper and looking our name in those is really a hard work, and a lot of hard work is required. So if 3, 4 or 3 people of you are working for the paper, you share that. All yellows I will highlight, and all blues you highlight, all green, that means objectives you highlight. Then you 3 of you read and again segregate the papers, again read the objectives and start writing on your own. Then introduction. So don't write all things at one day, or work on introduction for 1 month. Then work on your objectives, work on your literature review. One person completely dedicate for literature. Literature review is the heart of your paper, because your objective, your conclusions and your findings will link to the literature. That is why linking of the people who already publish, that should add to this. You are referring to the person of non-performing asset literature, and you are producing something which is not related to the NPA. It will not work out. So it should have a extension of that research. After 2021 paper, my 22 sector publication will be an extension to that research. You should have it is not simple, easy for me to speak. Even for me also, it is difficult to work out in those lines. But if we try, because those who are successful are doing the same thing. If we fail 2-3 times, we will be sorry. Again, if your paper get rejected also, don't worry. Take those comments. Add those comments and send to the little bit lower level journal. It will definitely get published. If you aim at Scopus, you may reject with some comments, get a rejection. Add those comments, work on that and send to UGC care. Like that. Aim at little bit high. Then again come to the basic. That always we should aim high. We want to climb 30 steps. If we fall down 10 steps, means at least 20 we covered. No? So like that, let us aim, because in this busy schedule, publication is not a very easy thing. It looks very easy, but these are all the motivation things that how to justify. Yeah. How much is the performance level in different places? That is office. Yes, this can be one research question. Some typed how much is the performance levels in different places, as we said, office space as workspace. If this variable, the data you get, if that is added in the model, if this variable gets a significant level, yes, work life, office space is having, or place you work is having lot of impact on the performance. That is one thing that you can look at. And action research, this we have covered. And experimental research is commonly used in science, chemistry, biology. It is a systematic and scientific approach to research. We'll go to the hypothesis. Yeah, research design. The term research design means drawing for research. It is a systematic planning of content. Research design is very important. In that, what will come under research design? Research methodology will come. Means what methodology you wanted to use. You wanted to use a primary data analysis, or you are using secondary data analysis. Then research tools will also come under research design. What tools? As I told you, wanted to use a regression model, or correlation, or principal component analysis, or logic probit, or lead lag. There are different statistical models. Nowadays, you are using softwares also differ. You are using Python, or you are using R, or you are using AI. Many have come up. So basic thing, but models are same. Statistical models are ANOVA, you are doing two-way ANOVA, one-way ANOVA, or mean comparisons. These are the basics. So if you want a ANOVA, two-way ANOVA, mean comparison, comparison of two means are the basics, simple, regression, correlation. These are the basic things which can be done on Excel, and remaining as you advance for principal component analysis or lead lag, logic, probit models, for them Excel will not support. You have to go to either SPSS or AMOS or simultaneous equation. SEM model you can use, because if you have more variables, you can go for simultaneous equations. SEM model you can use. Again, SEM PCA, PLS is another software we have. PLS is SEM software. So like that, you have different softwares for different models, but basic is this. First, if you learn this with Excel, yes, you can. But how to select the we have discussed now? How to hypothesis, select the hypothesis, how to frame the variables, how to frame your objective, and how to frame your research questions. So how to frame your research design now? So draw for research. So in the research design, it aims to achieve goals of the research. So what I wanted to actually achieve, you should mention there the objectives in line with your primary data I wanted to collect, or secondary data, or what are the tools. Again, research tools for the primary. Questionnaire is the main, and you have many IT tools like Google Form or SurveyMonkey, or through app-based questionnaire data collection. And interviews also, you have NVivo is a very latest software that we are using. NVivo interview-based things can be, that is a very good software. That suppose if I interview people, I'll write down that, suppose, what is your opinion on work from home? What is your opinion on work from office? You will give the answers. No, we will write those things. Or if we enter in that Innova software, NVO, we will enter all that in the software, and once you run that, you will it will give you a graph image of, suppose, many gives the opinion that work from home is good. In the text you are typing, no? Yes, I believe that work from home performance I have really improved. And you also say that, yes, it is very comfortable for me. Work from home I have. Like that, if 10 people says like that, if we enter the data, if that picture will come, you might be observed with lot of words coming up, highlighting that work from home word will be highlighted with a big letters within the single boundary. Within the single boundary, first boundary, second and third boundaries. With the first boundary, work from home will be highlighted. It means in the text, it will pick up the correct words, means common mindset words it will pick up from 5-6 interviews. What are the common understandings? It will pick up and highlight that. It is a very good software, and it will give you a very good analysis of the interview method. For interviews, you are collecting through text. No, you are writing. That also there is a software, NVO, that is called. NVIVO. NVIVO is a software. It costs 3 lakhs rupees or 4 lakhs for lifetime. You can have on 2-3 terminals. That NVIVO software is very user friendly also. You can, because primary data analysis or interview method, if you adopt an interview method, those who are not so good in applying the tools, interview method using this NVIVO is authentication for that. Then you will get a very good results. You will enjoy also. It is very easy to learn also, NVIVO software. So if you have that NVIVO software, you can convert this into a model from, and common answers will get highlighted. So that also it will convert it to inverted commas text matter, and you can write an article. You will even browse for the articles who used NVIVO. You will get in words in your browser, Google. So how to interpret NVIVO data. So if you see articles using NVIVOs, if you type, you will get the articles that how they interpreted that results. You can even read. Always reading is very important. Then you pick up the articles where you find very comfortable in understanding. Keep them aside. Then every day again you refer them. Otherwise our direction will change. Otherwise you cannot follow that model. So then you learn, because that is very easy. Even if you buy the software, they will give training also, or many videos are available online. You can pick up by listening to the online videos. That is very easy, but it requires a lot of time. You need to spend more time on it. That is simple things you can. So research design, you have to frame as the arrangement of conditions for collection and analysis of data in a manner that aims to combine the relevance to the research purpose with economy in produced. And a master plan signifying the method. These are the quotations by the authors. What is the definition of research design? A master plan signifying the methods and procedures for collection and analyzing the need information. In PhDs, normally we conduct design seminar. It is nothing but your research design you need to. First, we will give a design seminar. That is called a research thing. That is very important. Need and purpose. It helps in smooth sailing of the research. It saves money, power, and material. Okay. It helps to modify the research if any difficulties are there. It gives reality to research. Research design process. Selection of research. This is the process. This is very important steps. First, in the research design, selection of research. This we have covered now. How to select a topic. Framing research design. Framing sampling. Yes, this is another area where you can touch upon sampling. Now, we have selected a topic of work from home and how much, but by interviewing 500 people within Hyderabad and twin cities, can you come to the conclusion that office performance is more, or whatever it is, whatever result? Is it correct? No, because At least when you are selecting, even when you are many people are applying for funded projects also. This is very important, that sample, when funded research projects proposals, if you apply, your sample is very important. If you say that your research problem is a universal problem, your sample is a district sample, it will not get clear. Your problem, if it is a state problem, yes, district sample is sufficient. If the problem is a central government, means all India problem, your sample should be at least pick up 4 to 5 states. I am talking about national problem and referring only to one district and coming to a conclusion. Is it right logical research analysis? No. Whatever the topic is, if the selection of the topic is related to a national problem, then your sample should be at least 3-4 districts. Percentage of districts. States. If your problem is a state problem, you wanted to study the work, this one of work from home, and again, if it is an IT sector, I wanted to study the performance of work from home and office space. That's what is very important in sector. Limited to, in the title itself, limited to the twin cities in Telangana. Then your sample of 2 state districts of Hyderabad and Secunderabad might be sufficient, but again you need to justify. Here, in selecting the sample, justification of the sample is also very important. Simply you can't write 30% of 500 population, it will not click. Why we have selected only twin cities of Hyderabad and Telangana? Because most of the IT sectors are in the jurisdiction of these 2 districts only. Out of in Telangana, 30% of the IT companies are within these twin cities. Or 50% of the IT sectors are within these 10 cities. Therefore, we have selected these 2 cities, twin cities. Then justification is come, because your statement, your title is, you are limiting to the Telangana state, and in that you are limiting 2 districts because 30 to 40% of the companies are falls in this jurisdiction only. So that's the link, logical link should be there. Otherwise, if you say that I wanted to study the performance of work from home and in India, if you just without mentioning India or just title it, and you are studying in the Telangana portion, 1 or 2 companies, and if you write, it will not click. Even if you apply for funding also, because there is no logical link here. Designing, your research process, designing was not properly done. Your sample size, sample selection, framing of the sample design is very, very important. After conceptual framework, your sampling framework is important. When you are narrowing down how much is the total beneficiaries, if you are talking about evaluation studies, if you are beneficiaries of some program or some 10 lakhs of the people spread around the entire India. So out of 10 lakhs, if I wanted to study 5% of the population. Again, 5% you should not limit only to Telangana or Andhra Pradesh or Kerala, Tamil Nadu, southern part. Or if you title it in that I wanted to study only South India, yes, you can take 1% from Telangana, Karnataka, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, these southern states you can. Then that is justified. If you are titling it as an India and studying only southern part, will not give you logical conclusions. So selecting a sample is very important. So you should think what I am titling, to whom I am referring, so from where I am picking the sample. That is very, very important while designing the sample and collection of data. See, in data collection also, primary method is one, secondary data collection, that you know how to collect the data. And again, you should, are you going in person and collecting the data, or you are appointing someone to collect the data? If it is a project or a questionnaire, basically, then some people, what they do, they pull, if you give to somebody, they will just, without thinking, they will tick. If they simply tick this one, that without any logical linkage, when you run the model, you will immediately find out whether without going into the field, did you collect the data? Or after going and interacting, did you collect the data? You can easily make out by seeing the results of the sample. We can easily make out whether you have collected sitting there or you have in person went. And so when you are assigning the data collection work, which is very important and crucial, have a reliable person whether they will really go to the field to collect the data. Or if you are going in person and collecting, yes, you can. Or if you are sharing a Google form, share to the known people, don't share in bulks. Just share to identify the groups and ask them, please monitor continuously to fill your Google form and share the information. So then only you will get a correct results. Otherwise, you will not get the correct result. Then writing research reports or the article. Data analysis, editing, coding, processing, and preservation. See, coding is also again another important activity. I hope, but we have not scheduled any session for converting qualitative data into quantitative. That is very important actually. Assigning the codes, zeros and ones. Suppose I will just give you a 1 minute to that. If you have first demography, age, sex, and the annual income or some you will give. So male, female. For male, you will give 0, and for female, you may give 1. Zeros and ones. You can go with zeros and ones or Likert scale. Suppose if it is an always see, when you frame a questionnaire, again, that is another lecture for one session for itself. Whether your questionnaire is open-ended questionnaire or closed-ended. If you are using the converting the data into quantitative data and using some model, don't have an open questionnaire. Have a closed questionnaire with a Likert scale, 1 to 5. So then you can give 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, good, very good, excellent, and bad. So 1 as good, 2 as very good. There itself you can give the codes. Then you can enter and the qualitative can be converted into quantitative. Suppose you are doing some graphical analysis only, pie charts or the bar diagrams or histograms. Yes, you can have a yes or no's can be open-ended, male or female, or 1,000 or 2,000 rupees of your income. Like that, you can have a open-ended questions, or sometimes there will be a question and they will write the answer there. So it is very difficult for you to convert it into quantitative. So always have a Likert scale and closed-ended questions, and questionnaire preparation also. Not simply good, very good, excellent. Instead of that, strongly agree, strongly disagree. Many will do like that. But don't, that is for some researchers, it is okay. But basing on the topic, if otherwise good, very good, strongly agree, disagree, 20% of the people will strongly agree. What they will strongly agree? What is the strong in agree? You should have a content in that. We should have a content in writing the questionnaire. Suppose I did a project for UGC on the same topic. What is the teaching effectiveness of attending the FDP, Faculty Development Program? Performance, teaching effectiveness after attending the Faculty Development Program. If I say, do you agree this? Or do you, it will not give me. So I have to put some, is your teaching performance improved? Strongly agree, no, I don't put. Is your pedagogy changed means, are you using case studies? Are you using numerical exercises like that? If I give 3, 4 content-based questions, those are called content-based questions. Then what result I can see? So 30% of the faculty said that after attending my FDPs, suppose many 25 tick cases. Then what answer I can write in that? Yes, after attending FDPs, 80% of the faculty expressed that they are using case-based teaching. If I say strongly, 30% of them strongly agree that FDP really helped them, in what way that has helped? That is very important. Content, questionnaire should have content in that. questions in giving 4-5 multiple choice answers, don't always write with strongly agree, disagree, yes or no, good, excellent, very, no. You should have a content-based alternative choice options. A, B, C, D options should be a content-based. Then you can draw a logical conclusions, very good conclusions. So after attending FDPs, yes, my performance, is your classroom performance improved? Don't say yes or no. In what way it has improved? Are you able to engagement of the students, attention of the students? How can we rate a faculty? When the attention of the students is 100%, we say that we are 100% involved and teaching the faculty. So how much time they are they getting marks, again basing on the marks? Are your students getting 80%, 60%, 70%? Yes, after FDP, my class students were getting only 60% in my subject, but now they have improved to 80%. That is content analysis. Like that, you should have a content in the questionnaire. Then you can have a very good logical explanation. Like the data analysis, editing, processing and coding is always writing a good research report will come. Now, characteristics of a good research design means when you can say that it is a good research design. Theory grounded, it should have a basic, you should not be superfluous topics or basic reality which are close to your reality. Like as I told you, FDPs and improvement in the teaching effectiveness, everyone accept why you have organized this workshop and sitting patiently and listening, because it is an enhancement in the knowledge. It doesn't mean that learning, it is always a learning and development platform. So it is environment, feasibility of implementation, redundancy, and efficient. It should be. The research design should be. It should be flexible, it should be economical, it should be unbiased, to fulfill the objectives, and it should be more appropriate to the aspects of research. See, when you are again doing a research, why we use the word economical and flexible? It should, because you are doing writing a paper, while designing also you will have a budget. Suppose if I go for a data collection, how much time it will take, how much money I have to spend. So be smart in designing that also. So you should have always the data that is available on online platform or nearby places I can go and collect, or you can among the students also you can write a paper on this teaching effectiveness. So who are your target participants? Your students itself. You have 1,000 students on campus. That sample itself is enough. You can write a paper on teaching effectiveness among the students. What is their, but questionnaire should be very strong. That is content-based. Content-based questionnaire can be circulated among the students, among the faculty or the administration side, because they will assess like principal or deans. So that questionnaire, some portion can be addressed to them. So you can do here itself one or two very good papers, taking the data from the students, taking the data from your co-faculty, administration, and your management. So like that, you can economize some places and some things can be done. And it should guide him to achieve correct results, provide significant base for research, and it should facilitate to complete the research work within the stipulated time. That is very important. You wanted to publish paper within 1 year means your questionnaires also, your sample, 500, or suppose if you aim for 2 years research, you can. Time period also plays a very important role here. Functioning of research design, it provides a blueprint of the research. It limits the boundaries of the research activity. So research design is always very important to do that. So what are the components of the research design? Title of the investigation, purpose, review of literature, statement of the problem, scope of the investigation. This is called a research design that we will frame, because some said that we are in the entry level. He said we are new to research. So sir, you can note it down, these things. These are the basic things that you can follow. What are the objectives of the study? Variables, hypothesis and sample selection, data collection and analysis of the data. These are the basic things. So experimental and non-experimental designs. So in the research design, you have two models, experimental design and non-experimental design. What are experimental? There are two types, quasi-experimental and experimental. So non-experimental are case studies, content analysis, ethnography, focus group and network analysis and sociometry. So these are all non-experimental. You can have a analysis of the focus group interviews and based. Experimental research are questionnaire based, you can circulate, and data collection. Now, hypothesis. The purpose of hypothesis testing is to determine whether there is enough statistical evidence in favor of a certain. You all know how to write a hypothesis. So it indicates the expectations of the researchers regarding certain variables. It is the most specific way in which an answer to problem can be stated. So not in a biased way, but in a general way, you are designing your hypothesis. A tentative statement about a population parameter that might be true or wrong. As you have selected of the entire population, you know the difference between population and a sample. I need not tell. So population means a general idea of the whole population, people who are working. All the working people are a population. What is our sample? In Hyderabad and Secunderabad, the twin cities, the who are working in IT sector as our sample. Population is the whole total working people are our population. So a tentative statement, you are posing a statement that not much relation is there, but you wanted to test and check. So the difference between a hypothesis and a problem. See, as I told you, first frame the hypothesis, then statement of the problem, then the variables and the statement of the problem are research questions you can frame. Both an hypothesis and a problem contributed to the body of knowledge which support our existing theory. And hypothesis differs from a problem. Because problem is what? Here, problem is performance analysis. Performance is there or not is a problem. What is our hypothesis is different, framing. So problem for finding a solution to the problem, you are designing a hypothesis. A problem is formulated in the form of a question. That's what research questions we will form. It serves as a base or origin from which hypothesis is derived. And hypothesis is a suggested solution to a problem. A problem can't be directly tested whether a hypothesis can be tested. When is an hypothesis formulated? An hypothesis is formulated after the problem has been stated and the literature study has been conducted. See, if from literature survey, first you do literature survey. From literature survey, what is the aim of doing a literature survey? Not simply who has done this, that, and no. From literature survey, you should draw three things. Variables, selection. Selection of variables comes from literature survey. Because some have proved using 5 variables of what we have discussed now. Some might be using many more variables. If you read the literature, you identify, as I told, for literature review when reading, what are the objectives? Finding the variables, hypothesis, and the problems. These 3 colors you give and start reading the
This PPT.
Yeah, they're there, madam. I'll attach the paper. One second.
So after hypothesis, I will stop the remaining slides. And Excel, you have latest version, no? All have like,
Yes.
it's teach Excel. You are also comments. right?
Yes, ma'am.
30 or 37.
43.
This is the- This 30. 40, this. Yes.
Here only, no?
So you got a small technical break. So we are in hypothesis formulation. It is formulated when the researcher is totally aware of the theory and empirical background of the problem. So hypothesis framing from literature, what we are talking, from literature review 3, you have to finalize. After thoroughly reading the literatures, you first frame the literature review. From that, you frame your objectives. From that, you frame your hypothesis. From that only, you can frame your problem, statement of the problems. Research problems, 3 to 4 or 5 problems can be identified when you read the literature. If you read the literature, you can easily do that. So first identify the relevant articles, download, keep it, and then you can easily identify the these 3 issues in the literature review. And purpose and functions of hypothesis. It offers explanation for the relationship between those variables that can be empirically tested. So variable interrelationship among the variables, as we discussed, the space or the time, duration, travel, age, all these variables, whether are these variables are having influence on the hypothesis or not. Yes, they are having influence on our assumptions. So how you are accepting or rejecting the hypothesis basing on the relationship among these variables, your acceptance or rejections will come. It gives directions to an investigation. It structures the next phase in the investigation and therefore continue to the examination of the problem. So what is the characteristics of an hypothesis? It should have elucidating power. It should strive to furnish an acceptable explanation. It must be verifiable. It must be formulated in simple. It should correspond with the existing knowledge. Let us talk on these characteristics. So now the hypothesis what we have selected, that whether my research of faculty development program has an impact on the teaching effectiveness, whether it has improved the teaching effectiveness, or the technology transfer will help in improving the gross domestic product, or workspace, work from home, or this improve the performance. All these are hypotheses or quantifiable or not, whether you can measure it or not, verifiable. How we will verify? Through the measurement. Whether you can verify this, your hypothesis or not, is very important. Can you say any other alternative vague hypothesis? Can you say any topic? General hypothesis, assumption. means which is not correct. If we say a hypothesis which is wrong, then we will understand what is right. Can you say any topic hypothesis that this is my topic and if hypothesis is like this, we'll say that is it right or wrong?
Spending patterns of working women and a homemaker.
Spending patterns means you may hypothesize that yes, it is not a hypothesis, spending pattern. Can we sometimes a working woman and a homemaker, you tell. It can be a good hypothesis and sometimes because our needs does not depend on our earning. No? Our needs does, whether you are a homemaker or a working woman, our wants are same. You can say that instead of means to have a wrong hypothesis. I am finding a wrong hypothesis. So what to say, the instead of wrong spending patterns, the desire or the wants of a homemaker and working woman are different. Wants can be same, no? Whether I am working or if I does not work, I may feel like having good sarees or a diamond necklace or something, because wants can be, there is no relationship between want and whether you are working or not working. Even if I don't work, if I have an income, I can buy. Even a working lady also, if I am getting less money, if I am a homemaker, it doesn't mean that my spending is less. You are sending patterns. This can be a wrong hypothesis, because how can we say that working woman spending pattern will be more compared to homemaker? My earning revenue might be different. I have crores of property. I don't want to work. I may get more income per month rather than what we earn. So that is a wrong hypothesis. Means what? Hypothesis should be verifiable and reliable. Right. So you cannot do that, because that's what. As this is a correct hypothesis. This is because spending pattern and there is no, even if you frame variables also, you cannot justify that this is right and that is wrong. Because each one have their own income level, whether you work or not. But what is the source of income? If you work on source of income, yes. Working and non-working hypothesis, that is wrong. But if you work on source of income and the spending levels, yes. My source of income is this and your source of income is on property, assets, I can. Source of income and spending levels, yes, there is a relation. There is no relation among working woman, homemaker and a spending pattern. So that can be a wrong hypothesis. So like that, when you frame a hypothesis, it should be correct and reliable and accessible, and the variables should be correct. And descriptive hypothesis and rational hypothesis. These are propositions that describe the characteristics such as size or form or distribution of variables. The variables may be object or person, organization, etc. Descriptive. The rate of unemployment among arts graduates is higher than of commerce graduates. This is hypothesis. That rate of commerce graduates is previously the students who do BCom, immediately they think that we may get job. The students who do BA history or English or languages, their employability might be less. That is a general assumption. The educational system is not oriented to human resource needs of a country. That is one perspective. Our assumption that this is, but this is right or not, we don't. What is it? This is a descriptive hypothesis. What is rational hypothesis? There are propositions which describe the relationship between two variables. Families with higher income spend more for recreation. Upper class people have fewer. One second. Upper class people have fewer children than the lower class. Families with higher income spend more for recreation. Families with higher incomes will spend more for recreations. We will feel that higher incomes will spend more on the recreation. That is our assumption. That is a rational hypothesis. That is because, why we call it as a rational hypothesis? There is an already pre-assumption that higher income people will spend more. That is a common idea. Upper class people have only fewer children than lower. Because we are, even though if you test or if you does not test, that is a common perception that lower pay incomes will, even though they have less income, they will have more children, because children themselves, they think that they are their income, their property. Once they grow up, they will take care of them, and that is the feeling. Upper higher income groups, that is a common rational hypothesis. This is general, known hypothesis. This is some hypothesis we have to test and check and see whether that is having, like after COVID, the impact on health of all people is not good. This is not a perception. You cannot justify, you cannot establish a fact that post-COVID people become ill health. No, that is not correct. It is not a rational hypothesis. Some may fall sick, some will not fall sick. That is not rational. But there are certain rational hypotheses. There are some descriptive hypotheses, and there are certain casual hypothesis and working hypothesis. It states that the existing or a change in one variable causes or lead to an effect of another variable. The first variable is called the independent variable, and the later the dependent. Causality relationship. Normally, if we establish, suppose demand and price, our assumption normally is that when price increases, the customers will not buy. Consumers will not take interest when prices go up. That is our casual hypothesis, because here two variables, that is demand and price. One is independent variable and there is dependent variable. Your hypothesis, you are establishing a causality relationship between the two variables and establishing a hypothesis. That is called direct, and you will select the variables, one dependent, that is to the people who are into mathematics. So that is it. When you establish a functional relationship, see, when you, after hypothesis, when you are drawing a regression model or anything, in regression, you should have dependent variable and independent variables. You should have a function also. What are the factors that influence that? Those are the variables that we select. Again, when you select an independent variables, first we will select all the variables, first go for correlation. Whether is there any correlation between the variables. Only you should pick them as an independent variables which does not have any correlation. There should not be any correlation among the independent variables. There can be correlation between dependent and independent, but independent, the right and right variables should not have intercorrelation. If you have intercorrelation variables, then you will get into multicollinearity issues, because the incidence of one influencing the other will be there. Then you will not get a good result. So eliminate the variables which have a correlation. That's why you should have more variables when you collect the information. Afterwards, when you put to the test, you need not take all variables. There is no hard and fast rule that I have collected data of so much, let us dump all the things into the software and run and check. No. First, you dump only if you are running a regression, first test the correlation. Only take independent variables which does not have any correlation, and only the dependent variable and independent variable should have strong correlation. Like demand and price, strong correlation. Income and demand, or the competitive prices, products, competitive prices of the competitive products, how that influences the demand. Like that, you should have your customer sales and the price. Like that, you can have a lot of issues that can be tested. Those are casual hypotheses. Working hypothesis. When planned to study of the problem, hypothesis or former. Initially, they may not be very specific. In such cases, they can be hypotheses which are subject to modifications and the investment process. Working hypothesis, sometimes you may change the hypothesis also. You may start with one idea that this will not happen. But after some time, you may change your idea that, yes, this is not a correct hypothesis. What example you can say that a patient means a chronic disease. People disabled, or you may say that extra challenge people cannot perform well than the challenge people without any disability. That is our assumption. But over the working, you may change your perception. Disability, physical disability, I mean, not a mental. Physical disability has no connection with the performance. Even because nowadays you are seeing para athletics also, people with a disability are also playing javelin or something, many games also they are playing. So when you put to test, you may change your perception. Hypothesis is physical disabled people are no way less to the non-disabled. That out of working, you will come to know that you are rejecting that hypothesis. That is called a working hypothesis. You can plan. So null hypothesis, this hypothesis are formed for testing. As now you told there is no relationship. That means you are starting your analysis with the null hypothesis. And there are a relationship between a family income and expenditure of recreation. A null hypothesis may state there is no relationship. You can start with null hypothesis also. And statistical hypothesis, there are statements about statistical population. They are derived from a sample. Means what is statistical hypothesis? That means all the female population. Or cannot do both, or you can say that all female population are multitasking. That is a statistical. Is it correct that all female population are multi? We should not say no as a female. Men will say with one additional hypothesis, number 2, with our support. Women are multitasking with the support of men. That is an added one more variable that you may add. So that is a statistical, because you are taking population into consideration, women population, gender, all gender studies are statistical hypothesis, because you are taking gender into population as women, total population you are considering as they are very much talented, multi-skilled with respect to their education, uneducated, or if you are a woman means multitasking. Can we accept that? We will accept, but men will not accept that.
मैम इसीलिए तो संसद ने बिल पास कर दिया है सबसे ज्यादा अधिकार और महिलाओं को दिया गया।
So we are respected there. So we are multitasking.
सर वो नाम के लिए खाली दिया गया।
So we should accept with this is with the, I hope this is about the hypothesis testing and common sense hypothesis. Generally, it states the existing of empirical information. So shop assistance in small shops lack motivation. These are general, normal, complex hypothesis, analytical hypothesis. So it depends on the topic that you select in framing the hypothesis. I hope we will stop with the hypothesis, and many are there. I have 50 slides and the 20 slides are there on sampling. So next one is sampling, but how to select a sampling itself is a big topic, and that we may not cover, but tomorrow in the 2 sessions are there for our practical exercise like this. Day after tomorrow from 10 to 1. So again, in between, I will sometime we will take 10 to 15 minutes on sampling, because sampling also we need to cover. So after that, we will go for secondary data analysis, and someone has switch on their video and okay, they don't. Online student participants, we are stopping here with the hypothesis testing. And if you have any cultural background affects the learning of the students. Yes, someone said that cultural background affects the learning of the student. Yes, sir, is it the hypothesis you were talking about? This is really a good hypothesis. Cultural background affects the learning of the students. Really, this topic is very close to my heart. I always talk about the culture and also the ethics we follow, and it depends on how a human being, when the turning of the making of a human being depends upon the culture and our background, where we are and with whom we are making relationships, and with whom we are day-to-day spending the time matters a lot in molding the learning of the student. Yes, because why the people from the top world-class institutes and the why there is a differentiation between world-class institute and the state universities or the local or the basic schools, and there is a lot of cultural transformation. It doesn't mean that they are not performing well. They are performing. Those are also teaching effectively. But cross-cultural exchange of ideas is lacking. They are only local people. If you mingle with many cultures, and it is itself is a very good learning that we can develop. Yes, this is also a very good hypothesis. Fill the feedback form. Okay. Thank you so much for your patient learning. Online participants and offline. Faculty teaching to a faculty also is a big challenge to us. Thank you once again.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, madam, for a wonderful interactive session. I really hope all the members will be greatly benefited with the knowledge shared by you. Now I request Pauline madam from the English department and Aparna ma'am from languages department to felicitate our resource person.
Can we turn this side?
Everything is okay now.
It's okay.
Yeah, because they will also see it. Let's be fine. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Before we go with
Shall we have an
I deem it a great honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this occasion. First of all, let me start by giving glory to the Almighty God for making today's session successful. I thank Reverend Father Marreddy and Reverend Father Anthony Sagaraja for their support, vision, and commitment. My heartfelt thanks to the heads of various departments for their valuable contribution and guidance. Special thanks to our resource person, despite their busy schedule, has found time to grace the occasion. Thanks to all the invitees for accepting our invitation. And I thank all the technical, teaching, and non-teaching staff for their untiring efforts. Thank you all for your attention. Thank you.